Hello Taurus, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Taurus is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider hitting the subscribe button, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Taurus, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And here we start with the Knight of Cups. This is a card that has to do with the giving and receiving of love and affection, right? It sometimes asks the question, do we feel like we're getting enough love in our life, right? Are we sharing? Are we sending out enough love? And do we feel like enough love is coming in? Yeah. This is the card of following our passion. This is the card of saying, I'm doing something because I love it and I feel driven to do it. It's not about expecting something in return. Okay? It's about making sure that we're sending our energy out in a way that's authentic to us, in a way that is in harmony with our aspirations for life, our sense of destiny. Okay? I feel like you're a very passionate person. I feel like you have aspects of your life, whether it's one thing or if it feeds into almost everything you do, there's a passion in it. You're just a passionate person, you know, and that passion doesn't just have to play out in one thing, like when you're painting your picture or playing music, you know. That a passionate person can bring that passion to any activity. So I feel like you're very passionate in your love life, in your work life, in your personal, your spiritual life, with your friends, your family, your coworkers, with your personal, private, solitary activities, you know, your music, your meditation, things like this. I feel like you have a very rich emotional experience. Well, let's see where that energy is going to play out for you in the coming days. Ooh, Wheel of Fortune. Look at that. Very nice. I think that your energy goes in cycles, right? Life moves in rhythms. There are ups and downs, and that's totally natural, right? Let's keep going here. 7 of Swords. 2 of Wands. We've got the Death card, and we have a 5 of Swords. Well, you could be, experiencing a shift. You could be experiencing one of these cycles of change, these ups and downs right now, okay? I feel like there might be a turning point coming in your life in one area or another. I feel like a lot of synchronicity is opening up to you, okay? And we might have some questions about it. We might have, our ego at least, might have some doubts and a way here with the Swords cards, a way of dealing with our distractions and dealing with an ego that doesn't always find it easy to shift from one focus to another focus, you know? Sometimes we get kind of fixed on something and we're going with it, and it's just kind of day after day we're doing the thing. It could be that your life is changing, your sort of your passionate focus is changing, that Wheel of Fortune is turning, and it could be that we're now having to kind of shift ourselves mentally and start paying attention to other things, right? Basically, when we get a 5 of Swords, this is your mind's way of saying, or spirit's way of saying, pay attention to this. This is something new that you're trying to pay attention to and sort of lock in on it. Yeah. So I feel like things are really shifting for you right now. Let's keep going. We've got more cards. We've got a Princess of Wands. Yes, of course we do. We have a Knight of Wands. Yeah. Very similar, these two. We have a 9 of Swords. And we've got the beautiful Sun. This is like full this is full enlightenment. You know, to me, it kind of feels like we're shifting our focus. It's almost like a meditation. This is us trying to meditate. This is me trying to bring my thoughts back to center, bring my thoughts back to my breath. They stray and I bring it back. This is me constantly in that phase of trying to grab a hold of my monkey mind, you know, and bring it back to sit down and focus on what I'm meditating, what I'm focusing on, right? And I think if we can harness our attention in this way, this is all about attention now. If we can focus our thoughts on something, we're reaching that stage of enlightenment. This is me. I'm trying to meditate for years and years and years. Maybe we don't even feel like we're making very much progress, but suddenly that day of enlightenment comes where everything clicks together and we get that experience. Now, this isn't just meditation for you. This is about anything. If you're following something with passion, right, we are going to go through this phase of, I don't feel like I'm making any progress. And maybe we're even questioning, why am I even doing this? You know, what's the point? It doesn't seem to be working. Well, if we stick with it, things will click. We will reach that kind of biggest win, that breakthrough kind of moment, right? I like this very much. Let's select a mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it right here with Bubo, the mechanical owl, right there on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any point during this message you feel like you know what that card could be, put your prediction in the comments. All right, let's use our intuition. Now, as we look around the room, we see some very interesting major arcana. The Wheel of Fortune, this sort of random, you know, the destiny and karma, right? The cycles of life, the ups and downs. Sometimes we feel like we're at the bottom of the wheel. Sometimes we feel that we're at the top. Sometimes we feel as if we're not making any progress at all and we're kind of at the bottom. We're still on the floor. Other times we feel like we're just about to break through the ceiling, right? Some days we feel like, I'm doing it. I'm doing a really great job at this. Other days we feel like, oh God, I just don't know what I'm doing. You know, I'm not making any progress at all. And of course we have our death card, which is the awareness, the reminder that our destiny, it takes time for it to unfold. Okay? The death card is the card of change. It's the nature of nature. It's the fundamental force of the universe. It's slow and steady change over the course of time. And mixing these two together, in a sense, the destiny, the karma, the so-called luck or randomness of the universe, and this slow and steady, consistent wearing away at things over the course of time leads to that enlightenment, leads to that great success of whatever you're doing. This is business, this is school, this is a relationship, this is your meditation, your spiritual practice, this is your art form, the skill you're trying to learn, the stamp collection you're trying to do. You're going to learn jiu-jitsu, you're going to learn guitar, whatever it is. I don't know. I can think of some better examples, but it doesn't matter what you're doing. You're doing it with passion, and I think we're going through sort of the ups and downs of it. We're going through the rhythms. Some days we're maybe a lot more fired up about it. Other days we're just kind of, it feels like we're trudging through the mud, you know. You're able to resist the distractions, though. You're able to contain yourself and say, I'm focused on this, even on those days where it doesn't feel like I'm really getting too far up the wheel, right? On top of that, we've got fire, fire, fire. We got water right in the middle. And that water is so important right now because it is your passion that's sort of directing you into what you're doing, even on the bad days. Okay? It is this passion. We have, obviously, air and air. Okay? The water energy is in a way, it's being challenged by both the fire that we have and the air that we have. So our energy is being distracted. It kind of wants to be distracted, but you're having, it's sort of your work right now to stay focused on that passion of yours, what you feel your life has shifted into, that where your passion is taking you. Okay? And I think when we follow that kind of passion, joy, excitement, It's directing us toward what we really want to, well, reach the sun card with, right? Something that we really want to have, that kind of, that breakthrough moment. This is a card of success, wealth, it's a robust health. I mean, we could have any kind of goal right now, but it's about what your heart is really wanting and what that passion is all about. We don't have any earth cards, right? So it doesn't matter what you're doing, what matters is how and why. Now, with the Wheel of Fortune, I think that when you're following your passion, you're going to experience a lot more synchronicities. There are going to be meaningful coincidences that sort of guide your path, guide your heart. This is, let's say, a Knight of the Holy Grail, right? This is somebody that is after that. And sometimes when we have found the thing that we feel this passionately for, it feels like we've acquired the Grail. I've found it, right? And now I'm going to hold on to it at all costs, and I'm going to take it home, right? You go out, you find the Grail, well, you still got to bring it back to Montsalvat, right? You still have to bring it back to the Grail Castle. So that's only half of the quest. Finding the thing that gives us this kind of passion, and it may change over time. In fact, I think it's probably been changing recently for you, okay? So I think that you will be experiencing more signs, symbols, and synchronicities. Those meaningful coincidences, doors will open where there were never doors before. You'll be getting more green lights in life when you follow this kind of synchronicity. When you follow those signs, we're paying attention to, it's the equivalent of like, as humans, we tend to pay attention to things that are really shiny, right? We tend to pay attention to things that move fast in our periphery. We'll look. When there are people with faces doing things, we'll tend to want to look at, what people are doing, what they're up to. It's just because we're social, That's kind of built into us, is our sort of need to do that kind of attention. Yeah. And I think on the spiritual level, a similar thing happens, and I think it's all tied in together, right? Energy is energy. I don't feel like it's different. I don't feel like spirit and matter are two different things. It's all consciousness, right? So I feel like when we're following this kind of passion, we will still go through these distractions. There will still be things that tempt us to kind of look over here and see what the neighbor is doing, right? Or see what other energies are coming in, or what else might be bubbling up from inside of us. And the idea is that we've got to stay focused on the heart. This is the path with heart, right? Even though you're going to be experiencing a lot of mental distractions. Okay. So a lot of synchronicity here. And I think that with the Wheel of Fortune, this is a chance for you to maybe shift direction and ride this wave of passion and really good fortune, I think the Two of Wands in the background is kind of saying that, yeah, maybe we needed a shift here. Okay, I think that the Two of Wands in the background is maybe we're struggling. Maybe it's kind of like we're being pulled in two different directions. Sometimes this is the card that says, I can't do two things at once. I can't be in two places at once. That the attention is sometimes, well, I think very often our attention is split, right? I'm sitting here doing this reading. I'm also part of my mind somewhere back there, almost below the level of consciousness, thinking about how my daughter's doing. She was feeling a little sick last night when we went to bed. She's 5, and she's with her mom right now. And so there's always that sort of split attention. It's very rare that anybody can focus their attention on one thing, and that's it, to the exclusion of everything else. That's somebody who's already mastered meditation, right? That's sort of the goal that we're trying to work toward. So our attention is always split in two or more directions. With the Two of Wands, though, I feel like our attention is so equally split that I'm kind of stuck in the middle. I am taking 2 steps this way, but 2 steps that way, and I just end up in the middle feeling like I'm being split apart. Okay. So I think the shift here is that we're finding the one thing, we're committing to the thing that we feel the most passionate about or toward, and we're pursuing that, whether it's a relationship, a skill, an art form, our job, or a career, a vocation, something in school, it's whatever it might be right now. And this will shift over the course of time for you. Your destiny does not mean that you're just, you're sticking with one thing no matter what. I think you have to follow the signs and synchronicities as your heart, as your destiny and your passion, your quest take you into different directions. Okay, but right now, we're realizing that we can't go in two directions. I can't go east and west at the same time. So we kind of got to pick one. You know, we kind of have to pick one. But I think that once we do, we're sort of surrendering. We're letting go of this need for control, because the Two of Wands, this is all about control, right? It's all about control. So we're surrendering and we're trusting. We're letting go of the need for the control so that we can just follow the path with heart right now, ride the ups and downs, ride the waves. We're experiencing, I think, a lot more good fortune when we're following that path with heart. There's going to be a lot more synchronicity. And you will know when it's kind of it's time to maybe shift into a different avenue of your passion. Okay, and it doesn't mean that you're giving up on the other thing. Like sometimes in life, for me personally, I'll have a very intense passion for meditation, for literally crisscross applesauce, closing my eyes and focusing on the tip of my nose. Like literal meditation, I'll have a passion for it, right? But then I may go through these phases and these cycles where I'm more into waking up in the morning instead of going straight into an hour-long meditation, that maybe I'm going to do some hatha yoga postures, and I'm going to do some stretches, and I'm going to do that sort of thing. I'm going to do more mantra work and more deep breathing kind of pranayama work, right? I've always been very Eastern kind of oriented, right? But it doesn't mean that I've lost all love for sitting down and crisscross applesauce meditation. It just means that the passion right now, where my soul is really calling me, is toward the hatha yoga, the breath work, and that sort of thing. Okay? And I know those two examples are very close together anyway, but it could be very different things. But we'll know when the natural cycles are sort of taking over, and it doesn't mean that I've abandoned meditation. It may just mean that I'm on a maintenance level with the meditation, because I'm focusing more of my attention on the breath work and the pranayama and the asanas and that sort of thing. And that'll shift back toward the hardcore meditation, an hour, 2 hours a day at some point too. We have to trust our guide, that we're doing that in the proper way. So we're sort of letting go of this need for control, and we're allowing life to unfold. Okay? Now, the problem sometimes is that we want two things equally. We have to, not that we have to choose between the two, but we have to feel, where is my heart really drawn to? What am I going to immerse myself in now? What's going to get most of my attention, as much of it as I can, so I can really make some progress and figure some things out and have an experience with that thing. Life is not a dichotomy where we have to choose this way or that way. We can do all things, but we can't do them all at the same time. Okay, that's the kind of message there. I think you're working with the divine timing. Okay, and with the Death card up here, we realize that not all of our passion goals, not all of our work manifests instantly. Okay, some things, the Death card, change, slow, gradual progress over the course of time. These two cards together are the releasing of control, not needing to really, not having the ego really say, well, right now I want to just meditate. I don't want to do the breath work. Well, there's a calling toward that. Maybe we think, well, it's not logical that I do that instead of that, right? So we let go of the need for control. We're working with divine timing, and we know that things take time to really manifest. It's going to take slow and steady effort over the course of time that's really going to make the biggest impact. Now, if we're split between two opposing things, and we're trying to do them both as the central work of our lives, we may not really make much progress in either one. And we realize that some things require the right season or the right alignment. See, that Wheel of Fortune is a card of seasons, a card of the alignment. When the wheel comes around in a certain configuration, that's when we've got to leap into it. You're just you're waiting for the platform to come around to you, and when you see it, you gotta jump onto it. You gotta time the jump, And so it's not something we choose. The Wheel of Fortune is saying things happen when they happen. The opportunity, maybe there's a door opening for you to pursue a certain passion, and that's indicating, I guess it's time to shift into that thing now. Something else happened in your life, and it's kind of like, well, I guess that means that doorway is blocked, and Spirit's really giving me a green light over here, which I didn't expect. Divine timing, this is Spirit's wristwatch. This is the cosmic timepiece. And it's saying when it's time to go in this direction, you're going to know. You may not always agree with it. The thing is, the Wheel of Fortune doesn't need our approval. It doesn't need our say-so. It doesn't even need our participation. It says, here's the opportunity, here's the door or the window. If you don't take it, it's going to close again. Another one's going to open up over here. We can always say, no thank you, I'll take the next elevator. But I think it's smart to, the elevator doors open, right? Now imagine standing in a lobby of a office building where there's like 6 elevators. And you're standing in front of one, you're pushing the button, you're waiting for the doors to open. But you hear the ding and the elevator over there opens. What are you going to do? You're going to say, no, I'm going to wait here for this. This is my elevator. This is the one I want to ride. Well, that one's open there. You grab your stuff. You hurry up before the doors close. You hope someone in there's hitting the open button so that you don't get blocked, you know. And the thing is that you have a limited amount of time, don't you? I've been in a lot of office buildings, so it's important that you hit the button and you're just I sort of stand in the middle and I look around and I try to guess which one's going to open, and then when it does, you run into it. Well, etiquette: let people exit the elevator before you enter. Anyway, but that's kind of the idea of the death card and releasing that need for control, riding the waves. Things happen in the right season, and that's when we take advantage. Okay. We've got to trust when, not just kind of the what and the how, but when when it seems like the time is ripe. This card is saying yes to the unexpected, saying yes to the elevator doors that open for us, and that we're all going up anyway, right? So I feel like there are some sudden kind of changes or unexpected opportunities, okay, that may be occurring in your life that will lead you here. This is where we're going. This is where the elevator's taking us. We may not always understand why. Why did that elevator door open, but not this one? Okay, so please try to remain open to signs and symbols and synchronicities, shifts that might seem random but feel right. Okay, that's the Knight of Cups. They feel right. Underneath the surface is our ability to be distracted. We're getting into this mental energy now where the mind is always like, this is us, we're on that central sword, right? We're over here trying to focus on what we're doing, but I see some movement on my periphery, on the perimeter of my awareness. I see something shiny twinkling over here. I see a face kind of over there that's doing something. What are they doing over there? I'm distracted by other things, so I'm trying to just stay focused. This is meditation. I'm trying to sit there and just feel the breath going in and out, but I'm thinking of baseball. I'm thinking of my family. I'm thinking of, the tarot. I'm thinking of the YouTube channel. I'm thinking of my toes really itchy. My leg's getting cramped. I'm kind of losing feeling in my leg there. We're thinking of all these other things that are going on, and it's just whatever sort of bubbling up into consciousness, and everything is coming at us going the opposite way. See, this is you going forward. These are the things that are kind of coming at you going the opposite way. And sometimes we feel as if we need to dodge them, because they're coming at us, they're going to hit us. But the thing about this card, if you look at it very closely, all of those opposing swords, they're not actually touching us. So this is kind of like you're going to sit there and you're going to stare straight ahead and you're going to focus on what you're focusing on. All these other things are going to leap out at you and jump right in your face. And we're going to want to flinch, but if we don't, they're going to pop right into our field of awareness and they're going to fizzle out. When we flinch, it's kind of like then they're going to do it again, But these aren't actually going to touch you. It's kind of like the Buddha meditating under the Bodhi tree, and all the devils and all the demons came and were like, in the Buddha's face, and the Buddha did not flinch. And we flinch, and that's kind of like, okay, well, most of us flinch most of the time. The idea here is to try not to. And that's part of meditation, is to not be thrown off that balance. And this is the equivalent to you're sitting in meditation, and of course you're going to have a lot of thoughts coming at you. The idea is to not have a reaction to that thought, but just to let it come up into your face and let it go away again. right? That's the essence of meditation. And, you know, and of course, when our mind willfully strays out and I start thinking about, you know, the clouds and all that, we'll bring it back. Okay, so this is ignoring what's coming in, or not ignoring it necessarily, but not reacting to it. Just letting it kind of, you know, do that sort of thing in our face and then allowing it to subside. Whereas the Five of Swords here is when our mind, you know, actually goes out and attaches to something else. So this is an outflowing of energy. This is kind of an incoming of energy. Sometimes the momentum of the Wheel of Fortune, the momentum is on your side. But if we're going forward and we don't have clarity or confidence, right, then we're going to be kind of, we're going to be questioning this. Okay? We're going to be saying, well, wait a minute, I don't agree with the timing here. You know, we're getting stuck in this air energy, and that's going to be a problem. So we have to use this window of luck to plant seeds, make bold moves. Right, we need to get through this. It's a barrier of air energy right here. Okay, especially with that Nine of Swords. This is what we really don't want. And so we have to deal with this Five of Swords in the future position. The main challenge for us is the mind saying, I don't understand why this is happening now. You know, I don't understand. Or I don't believe that, you know, there's a lot of things. There's self-doubt here. There is kind of that internal critic that's kind of saying, no, I'm not meant for this right now. This isn't supposed to be here. Why is this happening now? I don't understand it. I don't want this. I'm not up for this challenge. I can't do it. This isn't what I wanted. And the mind starts interfering with what we need is clarity. And I think with some of our fire energy over on the path of the serpent might help us with the clarity, but we've got to let go of this need to kind of, I don't know, intellectually figure everything out. Because the Wheel of Fortune doesn't need our approval. We don't need to understand. This is a card that's asking a lot of questions. Sometimes this is saying, we don't need questions, we just need to surrender. We need to go with the flow and do it. If this feels right, feels like doors are opening, feels like there's some alignment happening, I just need to go forward with it and not say, wait a minute, I need an explanation first. I need to understand every single thing. Let me get out my list of questions. This is going to slow things down. Okay? Well, we're standing in the lobby and we're thinking, now I don't want to ride that elevator. How come this one didn't open? Now, if they were both on the 10th floor and I hit the button, they both came down, why did that one get here first but not? You're gone. The elevators are gone. You missed your chance already, you know. So whatever's going on in your life right now, I feel like there's an element of trust. Okay? And I feel like we have to realize with the air energy where we might be repeating some old patterns. Okay? The Wheel of Fortune, I think, is taking you into novel territory, new realms, expanding. This is all about, this is really good luck. This is expansion, right? This is prosperity. This is like broadening our horizons. I think it's a conscious evolution. We're moving beyond what we've already done. And that's part of our death card as well, letting go of the past and knowing that our path is always steadily marching forward. Okay? Between the Wheel of Fortune and the Death card, it's our ability to shift reality. This isn't just about fate. We are co-creators. We're realizing that we can nudge the river a little bit, but we're primarily in the river going with the flow. Okay? There's a great deal of this energy that we are not controlling. That we do not determine necessarily the course of the river. We can make little adjustments. We can nudge the river. We can be sort of a co-creator, but we can't be the most powerful force, right? I think our emotions, our passions, and our beliefs and our choices, our thoughts, our perception, the way we focus our attention, what we focus our attention on, whether we do or not, that's what kind of helps determine which way the river flows or which way the wheel turns, okay? So sometimes these cards are saying, I have a difficult time with attention. I have a difficult time focusing on things. Okay? Maybe it's something we need to practice. Because if we have these opportunities, but we're not focusing on them, we're not able to direct our power, our energy, our fire. If we're not able to direct that and do that thing, we're going to miss that opportunity. Again, it's as if someone's in the lobby of the business building, and can't decide to go into that elevator. That the doors opened up, but we're having trouble kind of seeing that and acting on that information, rather than that information, that perception that comes in gets stuck in our mind, stuck in our head somewhere. And we're processing, but we never go toward that open elevator. And the doors are going to shut. So these cards are both about the two of the great many difficulties we might encounter when we're trying to focus on the path before us. Because one, it's a new path. Let's say this elevator door just opened up. It's new information coming in. It's a new turn of the Wheel of Fortune. It's a new sign, symbol, or synchronicity. A new meaningful coincidence. Okay. And because this is brand new, because it's a novel sort of thing that we weren't really expecting, that creates a little bit of a processing delay, right? Because we're thinking, oh God, wow, okay, what does that mean? What's going on here, And then of course we run into the very basic issues of attention, which are a lot of distracting thoughts coming in. Our mind is wandering around a little bit. We just need to bring it back to the center and strive for that clarity. We need to try to stay focused on the doorway, the opportunity, the green light that is in front of us. And I think this is in some ways, our focused attention, but then also a little bit of a detachment and a trust. We set our desire, we do our part, and we release the outcome to the higher intelligence. We release the outcome. We don't fret over the details necessarily. We just say, okay, I'm going to try to not ask so many questions, and I'm going to get involved in the practice. I'm going to stop thinking about it. I'm going to start doing it, and I'm going to trust that the clarity will come, that the harmony of mind will be, or maybe the mystery card is going to be a 6 of Swords. Yeah, but let's talk about the path of the serpent. And as we do this, I would like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Readings are free. General energy is the Princess of Wands. This is a card that finds it difficult to stay in one place doing one thing. This is a very curious card that likes to start a lot of different things. This is the person that at an intersection will go to every crossing light, where you hit the button to cross through the crosswalk. They'll go to every single one and hit the button, see which one comes first. It's as if every elevator had its own button, and this is somebody that runs around and pushes them all and is kind of bouncing back and forth between all of them, or can't decide which elevator to go into. We'll jump into one and say, whoa, no, wait, let me out. And then we'll run to the other one and jump in, and then doors start to shut. Oh, no, let me out, right? Has trouble sort of committing to something. It's almost a nervous energy. Okay, so it's another card that sort of is talking about our attention, our ability to focus. Yeah. But this is a card that has a great many experiences, has a lot of different things that it does and likes to do. And so it might be that we're sort of dabbling in a lot of different things until we find that holy grail. We find that one that grips us, and then we let go of that, and we're Knight of Cups focused. We're Knight of Wands too, going toward that thing. See, these two cards are very similar. Okay, but this is the one that starts a lot of projects, dabbles, and then sort of comes back to center and dabbles a little bit more. This is a card that does not dabble. This is the card that finds something that grips it and is launched in that direction. Now, that launch requires some more fuel to keep it going so that it doesn't, it's like a big jump of motivation that then's going to kind of fizzle out, right? Where this card is never has that big jump of motivation, just has like a little tiny jumps here and there, here and there. but in different directions. So similar energy, right? But you can see that this is a big burst of activity in one direction, a big burst of that enthusiasm. And we have to find a way to keep this going. Again, it comes back to our ability to sustain our attention, even when things are not, even when we're going through the ups and downs and things, right? Okay, so the really difficult thing here is the Nine of Swords. Okay, and I think the Nine of Swords is, it is a bit of a harsh internal critic, right? What I want to do is actually a Language of Flowers affirmation card. Anytime we get too many swords cards, especially, I mean, come on, especially a 5, 7, and 9. I mean, you got the worst of the swords cards here. But all of your other energy is fantastic. So the only thing getting in your way is in some ways our own mind, you know. So Language of Flowers affirmation card, we're being told to communicate, listen and speak with great care. The moth orchid, beautiful flower, communication. Listen and speak with greater care to yourself and to others, but to yourself. Speak with greater care to yourself. Embrace every stage of this journey, from the seed, the growth, the harvest, and the rest afterward. Everything is part of the journey of manifestation here, and whatever your passion, wherever you're going right now, whatever you're doing. Okay? We're embracing all the stages, and not every stage is going to be, wow, yay, fun, you know, sunshine and roses and unicorns and cotton candy, you know. There's going to be difficult things. There's going to be, I mean, there's a shadow side of every card, right? We're riding the wave. It's going to be ups and downs. Yeah. So we have, even with some of these swords cards, we have fear of uncertainty. There's always going to be, and we're all human beings, I think, right? Most of us. We're always going to have this kind of anxiety about the unknown, fear of what's beyond our control, fear of kind of letting go and saying, "Look, I'm just going to give myself to this passion and see where it takes me," right? So I feel like that's a big part of what especially the 5 and the 9 are talking about. But if we can stick with it, we get that Sun card at the end. You know, we get that Sun card at the end. So this is a little bit of trust. And one thing the Wheel of Fortune asks of us is faith and hope and trust. Faith and hope and trust. Okay. And that Sun card is an absolutely wonderful outcome. This is the enlightenment. This is the realization. This is the dawning light of this path, all the rewards of all of this, all the sort of turbulence that we're going through. But your heart stays pure. This is a path with heart. It's the mind that's flickering and confused sometimes and anxious sometimes and wondering and even especially the 5 and the 9 again of swords, it kind of is this belief that we have as human beings that it's kind of like life is happening to us, right? And sometimes it's kind of like I'm not in control of this. It's happening to me. No, it's happening through you. It's not happening to you. It's happening through you. Okay, and that's what the Sun card is. It's throughput. Right? It's activity going on inside in the spiritual level internally, and your light is radiating out into the world. This is a card, this is an energy that can pay attention to everything. You know? This is a card of clarity. This is a card of seeing the past, the present, and the future. This is the card of kind of understanding that everything, all the twists and turns of my life have led me to this moment. This one shining, radiant moment of pure consciousness. This is the card of enlightenment. Okay? It's the card of success, wealth, health, well-being, robustness, right? It's a card of seeing, it's an energy that says we can see every ray of sunshine that's coming off of us, right? In other words, we can see that even when life shifts and we're kind of moving into other passions, that everything is part of a bigger picture. That things are not disconnected from each other. Everything we do, every beam of attention that we give to something, it's all connected to the sun. It's all a ray of light. And see how there are 12 rays of light coming off of the sun, right? These are the different aspects of our life. And I think that we have an ability to focus our attention on any one of these things at the right time, depending on where we are in our cycles, in our seasons, where we are in our lives, according to that divine timing, is going to say, what ray of light is really getting all the kind of all the energy now, And I think when we put it all together, it creates this wonderful life of ours. So again, it's not just you're going to have one thing in your life that you got to focus on for the rest of your life. No, it's your ability to focus your attention on whatever your heart and soul are sort of prompting you to do. And it may change throughout the day, may change throughout your week, your month, your year, your decades, your Saturn returns. It's all cycles, right? And so the changes that take place, our attention shifts from moment to moment, sometimes hour to hour, right? Like we're in school, we have periods of different subjects throughout the day. But even our focus shifts maybe week to week or month to month. Yeah, the years that go by and all these personal cycles too. Let's look at the mystery card. I know this is getting long. Okay. What do we have here? Well, I think maybe earth energy, right? I think maybe we need like an ace of pentacles or a 10 of pentacles, but I don't think we should be too attached to the outcomes. I think this is the process. This is about the flow, the trust, the work itself, and the experience of this, and the challenges, the things that we need to overcome in order to continue going down this path and really flourishing in all areas of life. So I don't know about pentacles, maybe more clarity, maybe an ace of something, ace of anything, right? If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Another Wheel of Fortune. Now we got two. Now we're doubling down on the luck. We're doubling down on the synchronicities. Pay attention. I think your luck is truly changing right now. And I think that you're going to experience a spectacular ascent. I think your life is expanding. You're realizing that your world is growing larger and larger. And sometimes that can make us a little anxious, right? When our world gets too big too fast. It feels like we're in a big empty space, You got to trust in this. Your soul is taking you into different directions, going down different roadways, following the green lights, following the synchronicities big time. Okay? And I think you're getting to the top of the wheel here. And I think this is going to be a very prosperous time in any of your endeavors. If you're following the path with heart, even though it may take you into different elevators, different pathways, things you weren't expecting, trust in that. And you will succeed, you will flourish. There is prosperity here. Okay? Love this. We're going to do an extended reading. We'll do an I Ching hexagram, we'll do some oracle cards. I promise I'll make it short. There is a link up top, there's a link down below. New readings for Taurus usually on Mondays and Fridays. This was a special reading for you. I just felt called. I felt like the timing was right to do a bonus reading for you. Be sure to watch both of your other readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.